true crime friends, how y'all doing? Listen, I wasn't even sure I was gonna make a public video this morning. Every day I make members only videos, but I was like, there's not really anything for me to talk about. And then it hit me. There's a couple of cases that we need to follow up on. So I was like, let me just go talk to the people and then we can follow up and I can tell you what's what on a couple different cases we've been following. Okay, so one of these cases may be real super duper mad, but we're gonna get to it. First, you know what you need to do. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps other people find us. Also find me on social media. That would be Instagram, Blue Sky. What's the other one? Oh yeah, Facebook. Okay, so look, Jordan Henning. We talked about Jordan Henning. Jordan Henning is the soldier down there in Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, who unfortunately unalived his wife, and it was caught on the home Nest camera. Remember I talked about American hero Jamie Savat, who was like the friend and neighbor who read the whole defense for absolute filth, and I was like, come through, Miss Jamie. Miss Jamie got up there on the stand, and she let everybody know that she was there, and she was standing up for her girlfriend, and I was like, yes, Jamie, do it, girl. Here's the thing. The jury came back with their verdict yesterday, day before, recently. And I was like, okay, so first degree unfortunate unaliving, that seems like the only reasonable verdict to me. That is not what the jury did. The jury convicted him of like second degree manslaughter or some nonsense like that. Oh, I was so mad. I was like, he clearly went out, got his pew-pew, applied lead to his wife, went reloaded, pew-pewed her again, and then spit on her and then walked away and was like, oh, I'm super duper sad and I'm very sorry. And the jury was like, he's a soldier. Maybe he had PTSD. I don't know what this jury was thinking when they gave him the lesser charge. I was very, very upset. And then the jury got to decide on what the sentence was, right? But first, the family got to get up and have their say. And this Ashley's hero cousin, I don't remember his name, but he's been in the Marines for 20 years. He was like, all of y'all are cowards. He said it straight to the jury's face. And I was like, yes, come through, cousin. Cousin, you about to get arrested. You in the military. You live in Kentucky. This might not go good for you. Anyway, the jury finally came back and they gave Jordan Henning 20 years in prison. Now, look, I believe in Kentucky, you have to serve 85%. So that gives him 17 years in prison. He's already been in prison for 3 years. So he's only going to do like 14 more years. That's not enough time unless, stay with me, Jordan goes to prison and he gets a wife who does not appreciate him. Maybe that is just karma. I don't think anything bad should happen to anybody, but if something bad were to happen to Jordan Henning, I would not be sad about it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Schadenfreude, thy name is gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Anyway, in other terrible criminal news, Nichole Rice over there in, where's Nichole Rice? Oh, she's out there in the Idaho region of the United States. Minot, North Dakota, South Dakota, one of the Dakotas. You know I'm not good with the Dakotas because to me, why we need a North one and a South one? It should just be one big Dakota. But okay, Nichole is out there in the Dakotas and she, as a 20-something, had this roommate who was a girl she went to high school with. Okay, so they lived together, but after a while, they weren't getting along. Now listen, I know you see before you today a delightful adult human being, but as like an 18, 19, 20-year-old, I was the world's worst roommate. Oh, I was spoiled. I was entitled. I'm a baby child. And so I was coming with full baby child energy. And by that, I mean, how come everything can't just be my way? I did not understand why everybody wouldn't just do what I wanted them to do and fall in line and get out of my room. And I mean, my roommate, like, I know you got to be here, but did you got to sleep here too? I had a bad attitude. Thank goodness I've grown since then. Turns out Nichole, when she was young, I don't know if she's a baby child, but she had some real bad energy. Her roommate, Anita, and her were not getting along. One of the sort of the straw that broke the camel's back in this relationship was Nichole had a fish tank and the fish tank was loud. Okay, how loud could bubbles be? But all right. And Anita was like, oh, I don't like the sound of that fish tank. This gets on my nerves. So she unplugged the fish tank for the whole weekend. I don't know how fish are supposed to breathe underwater, but I know if you unplug their tank, it makes it real hard for them to breathe. So when Nichole came home, all the fish were off swimming at the Endless Heaven buffet. They was like, oh, look, look, we just guppies with all these other guppies. It seemed like it would be a lot of fish in heaven. Do fish go to heaven? Anyway, all the fish was dead. And Nichole was big mad. The other thing, though, is Nichole had anger management issues, just a little bit, to the point that she was in anger management classes. Now, listen, if you're an angry person, please get yourself some help. But if you need like a whole class or whatever, that's like a next level problem. And so there was some sort of fight. Who knows what it was? And Nichole allegedly, unfortunately, unalived her roommate up close and personal with a small knife. Ooh, like a big knife, like a machete. That's can be a little bit impersonal because it's long. You can like poke them from a distance, but this was a little knife and it's like real up close. That's terrible. Nichole was super mad at the time of this crime, allegedly, because I don't know if she actually did it. She's not convicted yet. Although this is just the opinion of one lone gossip. She got a murdery face. I'm not saying she did the crime. I'm saying she has a face, in my opinion, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. I forget all the disclaimers that you're supposed to use when you call somebody an unfortunate unaliver. So please just insert your own disclaimer here. She looked like somebody who would unfortunately unalive others. Now, I'm not saying she did. I'm not there. I don't know it. Well, I do know what she's accused of. And to me, it seems like she did it. But mostly, I think she did it because I saw the TV show. Oh, yeah, they did a whole TV show about it. That was a cold case for 18 years. And everybody was like, was it the boyfriend? Was it the super? Was it the neighbor? Was it this one, that one, the other one? And you know, those two ladies from the cold case, from Cold Justice. Ooh, the way I love that show. They drove into town. You see them driving an SUV down a dusty road with a big cloud of dust coming behind them. And I was like, rescue is imminent. And so they came and they did 2 episodes over there about Anita Knudsen and her mama. Now, listen, one of the things that they did on the stand, and also I think they did a little bit in the TV show that made me a little bit mad. Anita Knudsen's mama got up there and was just like, my daughter was loving, she was wonderful, whatever. They kept referring to her as Anita's adopted mother. You know what you call an adopted mother? Mom. That's her mother. She raised that child from the time she was 6 months old. Just because that baby didn't come out of her body, that doesn't make her not that girl's mama. So anyway, Anita's mama got up there and broke my heart and was just like, my daughter was really wonderful. And I was like, I'll bet she was. She was pretty. She was nice. She was kind. She lit up a room. Wait, I have a question. As a slight aside, if you light up a room, does that make you more likely to be unfortunately unalive? I'm asking for myself. I am very nervous. Clearly, I light up a room, and so I might be in danger. Anyway, back to Nichole and Anita. So this case was a cold crime. This crime was a cold case for 18 years. And then Cold Justice, the TV show, came to town and they were like, we are going to investigate. We feel like we can solve this. And it all came down to one little piece of evidence, because the apartment that they lived in was student housing. And the way this student housing was set up, there was a key lock on each side of the door, meaning you needed a key to get in, but you also needed a key to get out. Many locks on the inside, you could just like turn a thing or push a button or whatever, and the door locks. This particular lock, you had to have the key. When Anita was found, the door had been locked with a key, meaning that whoever unfortunately unalived poor Anita had to have a key to the apartment. Now, there was a screen. Anita was found on her bed, and there was a window near her body, and the screen was cut. But the window was small enough, and the cut in the screen was small enough that no human could have fit through it. Also, there was evidence that the crime scene was staged. The screen was cut after the unfortunate unaliving, using the same knife as the unfortunate unaliving. Also, there was a whole bunch of dust on the windowsill where the window was. And so if somebody had come through that window, they would have disturbed the dust. The dust was not disturbed. In my opinion, Nichole Rice did it. And so she sits there with her mean, mad face. Oh, she looks super duper mad. She's like, I'm like, girl, you might want to fix your face to look a little less murdery. I mean, on the positive side, she didn't visit the Walmart murder aisle, which I guess is a plus for Walmart. Good for you, Walmart. Me personally, I feel like this girl's going to get convicted, and she's going to blame it on the TV show. She's going to be like, the bright lights of Hollywood came here to North Idaho, Iowa, and that is why I'm in prison, even though I'm innocent and have a very murdery face. And to that I say, girl, So that case rolls on, but I was going to follow it day by day, but it's so slow. Oh, dear Black Jesus, it is so slow. Why does everybody over there talk at like 0.5 speed, 0.25? I do not understand. Maybe I just talk too fast, but they talk slow and I can't do it. So I will rewatch some of those videos on like 3x speed, and maybe we'll get through it. Maybe I'll give you more updates on that one. Or maybe I will just wait till this heifer gets convicted, and then we can go on with our happy lives. Last but certainly not least, we need to talk about Robert Baker. Now listen. Monica Cimentelli is on trial for the unfortunate unaliving of her husband, Fabio Cimentelli. Fabio was a famed hairdresser. I had never heard of him, but okay. He worked down there for Wella. You remember Wella Balsam? That's the only way I know Wella, from the Wella Balsam. I don't think Wella Balsam's a thing anymore. Child, maybe I'm showing my age. Anyway, so Fabio worked down there at Wella, and he was like a big muckety muck executive. He started out as like a humble Canadian hairdresser, him and his sister, and they got to be very famous. His wife, Monica, was like the makeup girl, the shampoo girl, something like that. Wella took notice to Fabio, and they're like, oh, come down to California and we're going to fill your pockets full of money and everything is going to be great and you could be one of our executives. And so she became a real housewife of Southern California, and she spent her time down at the racquetball club and, getting her kibbles and bits diddled by the pool boy and other assorted random men in the neighborhood. Okay, that's her business. So then she hooked up with this dude, Robert Baker, who was down at the racquetball club. Now, Robert Baker, we need to understand about Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker is a certified scumbag. Yeah, I said it. I said it. He's a scumbag, and he would probably agree with this himself. Now, I understand that Monica Cimentelli was a bored housewife. Okay, being a housewife can be boring, especially as your kids get older. They're off doing their own thing. You got to make a whole life for yourself. And she's like, you know what I want my life to be? Doing the oochie coochie with other random men that I meet down at the gym while I keep my body in shape. This particular ridiculous mama Luke that she chose to oochie her coochie was particularly heinous. Here is Mr. Baker's resume. He was married like 4 or 5 times. One of his wives had a young daughter. He had an affair with his stepdaughter, who was 14. That's statutory lewd and indecent with a child, right? This girl's 14, and he had an ongoing relationship with his 14-year-old stepdaughter. He gets arrested, thrown in jail, right? He was in the military when this happened. He also got kicked out of the military. So by the time he's finished with his jail sentence, the stepdaughter is all grown up and they get back together. They called themselves married. They weren't legally married, but they were a couple for a lot of years and they stayed together. And this clearly troubled stepdaughter, because she had been doing nasty things with her stepdaddy for a bunch of years, decided to go into the adult entertainment industry, and they were actors together. And to that I say, ew. And so finally that relationship broke up and he became a manager of other adult stars. Okay, I guess that's a job. And then he was like, you know what? I'm kicked out of the military. Managing these actors is not going that good for me. You know what I'm going to do? I like to play racquetball. I'm going to become a racquetball coach down to the LA Fitness. Now, there's an LA Fitness in my neighborhood. I don't think they even have racquetball courts, but what do I know? Maybe I'll go in there and check them out. Anyway, while he's the racquetball coach, he meets Monica, starts having an affair with her, and then decides that she's the miracle of his life, even though it's about to be his 5th wife, and they're going to live happily ever after. Little problem. She's married to a dude, so they're going to unfortunately unalive her husband, and then they can live happily ever after. Robert goes and does the wet work, unfortunately unalives Monica's husband, and then they immediately hook up, and they just gallivanting through life, living their happy lives, and then, oops, they get arrested for the unfortunate unaliving, and even after they're arrested, they continue their affair. Oh, there's love notes. He sends her real nasty messages. There's pictures back and forth of her not wearing a lot of clothes and doing nasty things by herself and all kinds of super duper X-rated. Child, they couldn't even show it on the court TV. You know, the people in the jury was like, I'm gonna look through my fingers, but these people are real nasty. And so Robert has confessed. That's his gift to Monica. But it's real clear that Monica and Robert plotted together to have the husband killed, right? So Monica, they're in the defense case. Finally, we're on day like 35 of this trial. Child, this trial has gone on forever. So Monica's defense team, that's being paid for by her daughters. I wish somebody, If my mama, unfortunately, unalive my daddy, I'm going to pay for her defense. I bet you I'm not. But I guess it depends on who your mama was and who your daddy was. Anyway, the daughters are like, we believe in our mother. We're going to pay for her defense. So Robert Baker takes the stand and he tells his story with a whole mouthful of lies. Monica had nothing to do with it. Monica had nothing to do with it. I love Monica. I believe Monica loved me. She had nothing to do with it. And I was like, okay, cool. Then the state got up. Let me tell you something. This prosecutor, the last 3-4 days have been like Christmas for her. Day one, she's cross-examining Robert Baker, and he stood strong. He was like, yes, blah, 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 blah. He continued to repeat his regular lie. Day two, he was like, oh, I'm tired of it. Okay, yeah. He was slipping up on some of his lies. By day three, she had him on the stand, and he was like, what? Where am I? By day four, with this state just grilling him all day long for 8 hours, 4 days in a row. He was a broken man. That was something I really enjoyed watching. If you look at Robert Baker on day 29 of the trial, that is the very first day of his testimony, do a side-by-side of him, day 29, and him on day 34. He's clearly a broken man. He's sitting there like this. Literally and physically broke. He was like, please stop asking me. Can I please go back to jail? Please, if you would just, please. I need some zuzus and wham-whams. I just want some more bologna casserole. If this lady would please stop asking me questions. She broke him on the stand, and I, for one, thoroughly enjoyed it. She also dismantled his lies one by one by one. Stories he told on day 1 and 2 do not at all match stories he told on day 3 and 4, where he was just begging for Black Jesus to come in there and take him away. He was like, this lady is vicious. She keep asking me long questions. I'm trying to remember my lies. Meanwhile, Monica was over there perfecting her face acting. She was like, ma'am, fix your face. Her frowny face was so frowny. I was like, ma'am, I mean, I'm clear at this point. All your Botox is gone, but your face might stick like this. I've never in my life seen somebody face act so hard, so hard. I was like, oh, she's not very good at this. She's not going to enjoy prison that much. But that trial continues. They have moved past Robert Baker, but the breaking of Robert Baker really kind of made my week. I have to tell you, I have thoroughly enjoyed watching that prosecutor dismantle him day by day by day on the stand. Quite a treat. Anyway, look, this weekend, we're all going to get together. We'll do a true crime wrap up. I don't know what we're going to do. I usually do lives on the weekend. It just depends what mood I'm in. But listen, y'all stay safe till Monday. You have a good true crime day. I'll see you soon. Bye.